Okay, it's rolling. Okay, the first question is, how bad do you think the climate crisis is?
It's so bad that it's worth risking everything, because the future of our planet is so grim. It's heartbreaking.
Take a look at what's happening right now just in the United States, across the country. There's phenomenal weather changes taking place right now. So I think it's real, and I think it's very serious.
The weather has become so unpredictable for farmers that I think our food supply really is in jeopardy at this point. People don't know what to plant, when they can plant it, what they can depend on.
I totally agree.
I'm mostly worried about the global poor. I think of climate change as being primarily a social justice issue. I think that those with the money and the resources it's going to be a big challenge, but are going to probably figure out how to adapt, and I think we're going to lose a lot of people really unfairly because they may be in poverty already and not able to withstand the changes.
Like Somalia today. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Second question, how much time do you think we have to solve the climate crisis? Anybody got a thought on that?
Not enough time.
Yeah,
not enough time.
It feels so urgent. If I think too much about it, I just get too upset. That the more we can do, the sooner. I mean, people have to stop driving. It's urgent.
Right. Yeah, I do. I've been a bike commuter for 30 years, so I'm all over that part of it.
And people need to start considering how they can grow their own food or buy food from people that grow food right in their own communities. It's crucial to start learning those skills as soon as possible.
And we need to be teaching our children skills for independent living, for sustainability, where their food comes from, foraging, gardening, anything that they can do to pull their reliance local. And that includes reliance on your neighbors and people supporting one another, because I think it's inevitable at this point that the shit is going to hit the fan, and we're going to have some skills to meet that. It's not just about bringing it down to 350. It's about what do we do while we're doing that, and we are in crisis mode.
It's about adapting, because it is already here too. So it's not just about preventing anymore. It's already into the adapting mode too.
And teaching our children that as well, because it's one thing to say, okay, we're going to do this now, but we need to be instilling in those that are younger than us, this is what you need to do to sustain your future.
No doubt. Awesome. A couple more questions. The third one, what would it take to solve it? You've touched on that quite a bit.
Yeah, major lifestyle changes.
Yes, radical change.
And local dependency, community building, and people learning to get back in touch and trust each other instead of looking to elsewhere for answers.
And a serious change in the political climate. I mean, that, unfortunately, that's what governs everything. And so there needs to just be a total breakdown of the whole political climate right now, and a rebuilding of it.
I think it takes a major attitudinal shift from being me-oriented to being community-oriented. And for the past 20, 30 years, the focus has been on, Margaret Thatcher said, there are no communities, there are only individuals and families. And we have to get away from that manner of thinking immediately and start thinking about how can we be of mutual benefit to one another.
Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. Last question. Tim might face serious prison time today, several years. What would several years of your life mean to you in terms of this crisis? In other words, what would you be willing to commit to for several years?
I think his sacrifice is bigger than what a lot of us would be willing to make. I mean, I'm willing to sacrifice by not having a car, and I'm willing to sacrifice by never using cooling systems in the summer. I think he has gone way above and beyond the call of duty, and it's inspiring to us all. I hope that nobody should have to spend multiple years in prison, because that's just as dehumanizing. I would hope that there's not a need, and I think there is a need for us to go there right now, and I'm really grateful to him for going there in terms of his activism. But I really, really hope that we move away from that need.
Me too.
There are people, excuse me, who have committed way worse atrocities environmentally that have not even set foot in a courthouse. And so for him to face any kind of prison time is a crime itself. And if he does end up going to prison, I would like to see people make a commitment to, for the time that he does spend in prison, what goal am I going to set for that time period? What would I like to see myself in my own life have accomplished by the end of that time period? So that might be something for people to consider, as a time frame. What would I like to do by the end of that time?
I think it is going to take more people deciding that they will at least risk the kind of sacrifice that Tim has done, that they are willing to risk direct action that could lead to prison time, because we have seen in the past few years that when people do step up and commit civil disobedience isn't the word I want to use.
Direct action?
Direct action, yeah, because it's not disobedience if it's an unlawful law. But for people to take that risk and be willing to put their bodies on the line, literally, and it does wake up the government, and they have been known to stop certain things when people do that, because they don't know how to address an active populace. They know how to deal with a passive populace that relies on the voting booth for their actions. So yeah, I think it's going to take a lot of direct action.
I do too. Yeah, unfortunately. Anything else? It was an awesome interview.
What is